Please don't be angry with me. That is the first thing I want to say before anything else. Before the confession, before the explanation, before all the words I have been organizing and reorganizing in my head, trying to find the right order to put them in so that you receive them the way they are meant. Before all of that, just this. Please don't be angry. Not because what I am about to tell you doesn't deserve your anger. I honestly don't know whether it does. And that not knowing is part of what has made this so difficult to say. But because I need you to be able to hear it. And anger, the particular kind that arrives when someone you trusted does something without telling you, closes the hearing. It puts a wall up between the words and the place they need to reach. And I need this to reach you. In the deep place, in the real place, in the place where things land when they are true and matter and have been carried a long time before finally being released. I have been carrying this for a long time, and I am done carrying it. Not because the weight became unbearable, though it did become heavy, heavier than I anticipated when I first started keeping it, in the way that all secrets become heavier the longer they are kept, regardless of their nature. But because keeping it started to feel like a form of dishonesty. And I made a promise to myself before I made any promises to you. Before I was in any position to make promises to you. I made a promise to myself that the one thing I would never be with you is dishonest. Not strategically dishonest, and not gently dishonest, and not dishonest with good intentions. Which is the most seductive form because it lets you feel virtuous while still withholding the truth. I have been withholding something. And today it ends. Are you somewhere quiet right now? I hope you are somewhere quiet. I hope you have a moment, a real moment, not a stolen few seconds between demands, where you can actually be still and receive this properly, because this deserves stillness. It deserves the kind of attention that you cannot give to something when you are also managing everything else. I want your full attention, not because I am owed it. I am not making a claim on anything you do not freely choose to give, but because what I am about to say has been shaped for you, specifically, and it will lose something in the translation if it arrives at a distracted ear. So, if you can, if the moment allows it, find the quiet, and then stay with me. Through all of this, even the parts that surprise you, even the parts that make you feel something you weren't expecting to feel. Stay. Because there is a reason for every part of what I am going to say, and the reason will become clear if you let me get there in my own way and in my own time. The story. Here is the confession. Here is the thing I have been keeping. I fell for you before I was ready to admit it. Not gradually, the way feelings are supposed to develop. The slow accumulation of time and experience that gives you the chance to prepare for what is happening, to watch it coming and organize yourself for the impact. Suddenly, without warning, without any of the usual signs that something significant was approaching. One moment I was simply here, living my life, moving through my days with the ordinary self-containment of someone who had his world arranged the way he wanted it arranged. And then the next moment, with no announcement, no dramatic prelude, no particular thing that should have produced this particular effect. The next moment, I felt it. Not the comfortable, manageable version. Not the kind that arrives quietly and sits politely in a corner and waits to be addressed in the appropriate way at the appropriate time. The kind that arrives all at once and occupies everything and rearranges the furniture of your interior without asking permission. The kind that makes you look around at what used to be your normal and realize with a clarity that is simultaneously wonderful and terrifying, that normal has been permanently altered, that you are not the same person you were 60 seconds ago, that something has shifted at such a fundamental level, that shifting back is no longer a thing available to you. That is what happened to me. When it happened to you, it happened completely, and then almost immediately after came the decision not to say anything. I want to tell you why I made that decision. Not to justify it. I am not sure it needs justification. I am not sure it was wrong. but I am also not completely sure it was right. And the uncertainty is part of what made keeping it so difficult. I made the decision because I was afraid, not of you. I was never afraid of you, of the size of what I felt, of what it would mean to say it out loud and have it received and become something real, rather than something I could still manage and contain inside myself. Because once you say something true to someone who matters, you cannot unsay it. It is out in the world. It is real in the world. And the real version of something that large, I was not sure I was ready for the real version. So I kept it, and I told myself the keeping was temporary. I told myself I was waiting for the right moment, for the circumstances to align, for the timing to feel correct, for some sign that saying it would be received the way it deserved to be received. And I kept finding reasons why the current moment was not quite the right one. Not today because of this. Not yet because of that. Not now because something about now doesn't feel right. And I will know when the moment is right. And I will say it then. But the right moment does not arrive from waiting. That is what I have learned. The right moment is made, not found. It is made by deciding that the truth is more important than the timing, and that the person who deserves to hear it now, rather than at some perfectly calibrated future point that keeps receding the longer you move toward it. The right moment is this one, because I am deciding it is, because I am done letting my own fear determine what you have access to. You deserve access to all of me, including the parts I have been keeping. And here is the part I have been keeping. Here is the thing underneath the confession. The thing that the confession is actually about. It is not dramatic. It is not a betrayal, or a terrible secret, or something that will make you distrust everything that came before it. It is something much simpler and much more vulnerable than any of those things. It is this. I think about you constantly, and I have been pretending that I don't. Not in the casual way that people think about the things that are pleasant in their lives. Constantly. In the specific, particular, you are the first thing in my mind when I wake up way. In the you are what I reach for when something happens that I need to tell someone way. In the I was in the middle of something completely unrelated and you arrived without being invited way, constantly. With a consistency and a naturalness that has long since stopped surprising me because it has become the baseline, the default setting. The thing my mind does when it is not being required to do something else. You are my mind's default setting, and I have been pretending otherwise, not to you. Not in any active or deliberate performance of indifference. Just internally. Just in the private conversation I have with myself about what is real and what it means, and what I am going to do about it. I have been pretending in that internal conversation that what I feel is manageable, moderate, something I have a reasonable amount of control over, something that could be turned down or redirected. If I decided to apply the appropriate effort, I do not have control over it. It cannot be turned down, and the effort of pretending otherwise has been exhausting in a way I did not fully acknowledge until this moment. This moment of deciding to stop pretending, which is accompanied by a relief so large that I understand now how much of my energy the pretending was consuming. I am relieved. I want you to know that this confession comes with relief. Not just vulnerability, not just the exposure of having said something true that cannot be unsaid, but genuine, physical, settle into your bones relief. Like putting down something heavy that you have been carrying for so long that your body forgot it was being carried. It was being carried. It is down now, and I can feel the difference in every part of me. Now let me tell you something about the thinking. About what the constant thinking actually looks like. Because I want you to understand that I am not describing something abstract or romantic in an untextured way. I mean specific thoughts, particular thoughts, the kind that have detail and color and the quality of real experience, rather than vague feeling. I think about what you would say about things. When something happens, something that strikes me as interesting or funny or worth noticing, my immediate, unchosen response is to wonder what you would make of it. Not what a person in your position would make of it. What you would make of it. The specific, particular, completely individual you. And I know you well enough now that I can usually construct the answer. I know the kind of things that make your eyes go bright. I know the kinds of things that make you go quiet in the thoughtful way, rather than the withdrawn way. I know the difference between when you are moved by something and when you are merely politely acknowledging it. I know you specifically enough to wonder specifically what you would think, and knowing you specifically enough for that, that is not a casual thing. That is the result of sustained and genuine attention paid over real time. That is the result of caring. I care about you, deeply, in the kind of way that does not announce itself loudly, because it does not need to. It just exists, quietly and permanently, and with the steady confidence of something that has been tested by ordinary time and has not diminished. I also think about your well-being constantly, not in an anxious way, not the kind of thinking that is really just worry wearing the clothes of care, in the warm way. The way that says, wherever she is right now, I hope she is okay. I hope something made her laugh today. I hope someone is being kind to her. I hope she is being kind to herself, which I know is sometimes harder for her than being kind to others, because I pay attention, because I notice these things, because the details of who you are have been accumulating in me over time, and I know which ones are the essential ones. I hope she knows, in whatever quiet corner of her day, that she is thought of, that she is held, that she exists in someone's consistent attention as something precious. You exist in my consistent attention as something precious. Every day, without exception. Even the days when I am furthest inside my own life, most occupied with my own things, least able to be outwardly present to anything beyond what immediately demands my attention. Even on those days, you are there, in the background, in the warm constant hum of what I carry without choosing to carry, because it is simply part of me now. You are part of me now. And that is the confession really. That is the thing at the center of everything I have said. Not just that I think of you constantly, but that the thinking has gone on long enough and been consistent enough and been accompanied by enough genuine feeling that you have become part of the landscape of my interior life. Not a visitor, not a pleasant presence that comes and goes. Part of the furniture, part of the foundation, part of the thing that is simply there, always there as naturally and unquestionably as anything essential. Please don't be angry. I said it at the beginning and I want to say it again now that you have heard what the confession actually is. Please don't be angry that I kept this. I know I should have said it sooner. I know every day I kept, it was a day I withheld something true from someone who deserved the truth. I know that. And I am not defending the keeping, I am explaining it. There is a difference. The explanation is this. I was afraid of what saying it would require of me. Afraid of how exposed it would make me. Afraid of giving you something this large without any certainty of what you would do with it. I am giving it to you now without certainty, without a safety net, without knowing exactly how you will receive it, or what it will change, or whether the relief I feel right now will be followed by something that hurts in the way that exposed things sometimes hurt. I am giving it to you anyway, because you are worth the risk of the exposure. You have always been worth it. I was just not brave enough before to act on that knowledge. I am brave enough now. Or maybe brave is the wrong word. Maybe what I am is simply done. Done protecting myself at the cost of your access to the truth. Done letting fear make decisions that love should have been making all along. Done treating what I feel like something to be managed rather than something to be given. What I want to give it. All of it. Not in pieces, not in the carefully rationed increments that self-protection distributes things, all of it, at once, without holding any back for safekeeping. Because holding back for safekeeping is just another word for not trusting you with the full truth. And I trust you more than I have trusted anyone with anything real. And that trust deserves to be expressed as action rather than just feeling. This is the action, this confession, this decision to say the true thing without waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal circumstances or some sign that the timing is finally right. The timing is right because I am deciding it is right. Because you deserve the real thing. And the real thing is this. I am in this completely. Whatever this is, whatever category it fits into, whatever name it goes by, whatever form it takes as it keeps developing into what it is still becoming, I am in it. Not with one foot in and one foot ready to leave, if things get complicated, both feet, fully. With the specific and complete intentionality of someone who has looked at the full picture, including the complicated parts, including the parts that require something real from him, and has said yes to all of it, without reservation and without the fine print of conditions I have not disclosed. There are no undisclosed conditions. What I have given you today is the complete inventory, the full truth, not the version I thought you were ready for, or the version that would make me look best, or the version that protects me from the vulnerability of being fully known. The actual version, the one that has been sitting in me, waiting to be given, growing more urgent the longer it waited, until today it simply could not wait anymore and arrived at your door. Whether I was ready to bring it or not, or I was not entirely ready, I am not sure I would have ever felt entirely ready. Readiness, when the feeling is this large, might be a condition that never quite arrives, so I am doing this without readiness, with willingness instead. With the simple, undefended willingness of someone who has decided that you are more important than his comfort, and more important than his protection, and more important than the carefully maintained distance he uses to keep things from getting too real. This is too real, and I am grateful for it. I am grateful for the realness of it, in a way that I was not able to be grateful while I was keeping it, because keeping it turned the realness into a weight, rather than a gift. It is a gift. What I feel for you is a gift. Not to me, I know it might seem like I am the one giving here, but the truth is that what I feel for you has given me more than I am now offering you. It has given me the experience of caring about someone so completely that their well-being becomes as natural a concern as your own. Of finding another person so genuinely, specifically interesting that the knowing of them never feels complete and the wanting to know more never diminishes. Of feeling, for what might be the first time in my adult life, that the love I am capable of giving has found something worthy of receiving it. You are worthy of receiving it. That is the thing I want you to hear above everything else I have said. Above the confession and the explanation and the description of what the constant thinking looks like, and the admission of the keeping and the relief of the releasing. Above all of that, you are worthy of the full version, of the complete and unedited and kept nothing back version of what I feel and what I think and what I want and what I am willing to give. You are not someone who gets the partial version because the full version would be too much for her. You are someone who deserves the full version because the full version is the only one that is honest, and you deserve honesty more than you deserve anything else I could offer. You deserve honesty, and all of this, every word of it, in every honest, unprotected, generous, vulnerable form it has taken. This is me, finally giving you that. Please don't be angry. I should have said it sooner. I know I should have said it sooner. And maybe you are a little angry, and maybe that is fair. And maybe I will sit with that and accept it as the appropriate consequence of keeping something true from someone who was always owed the truth. I will accept it. I will not defend myself against it. But even if you are a little angry, I am asking you to also, underneath the anger, alongside it in the warm place that exists beneath every surface feeling, to also feel this, How specifically and completely and without any qualification or condition you matter to the person saying these words. To feel the weight of what was kept, not as a betrayal, but as evidence, as the specific evidence of how large the feeling was. Because small feelings do not require this much courage to release. Small feelings are easy to say. It is only the enormous ones that require this much deciding, and this much readiness, and this much